Hi, my name is Jill Kern, and for my Latino and Latina students, I'm Irene, and today I'm going to talk about balance, but a particular kind of balance, the kind of balance you need when you're walking. The reason walking balance exercises are important is because we walk every day. And many balance exercises focus on strengthening your muscles, but in a static position. In other words, you're not moving a great deal. But the ones I want to talk about today are about walking and keeping your balance while walking. And another important reason to study walking balance is that when you hear about people having a fall and breaking something, it's usually not because they were standing still. It's usually because they were walking or running or doing something where they were moving from one spot to another. So we're going to talk about how to walk safely and not lose our balance while walking. And one of the interesting things about walking is that the human body is designed to walk. We are designed to move around, not just stand still all the time. So when anthropologists study the skeletons of ancient hominids or human ancestors, they can tell that the moment when they started walking on two legs was one of the moments, one of the times they became fully human. They can tell from skeletons whether people are designed to stand upright like this, or whether they're used to getting around on all fours, or whether they're more used to climbing. You know, some of our relatives, the monkeys and apes, have muscles that are designed for climbing or for getting around part of the time on all fours and part of the time upright. But human beings are really designed to walk upright. So one of the things that we are not designed for, but which we do all the time, is sitting. And one of the reasons people sometimes have trouble with their balance when they're walking is that sitting encourages you to lean forward, to lean your head forward, either to look at a computer screen or to look at a book, or even to look at something on your lap. So after you sit in that position for a while, when you get up, your spine tends to be curved, and you have to remind yourself to stand up and to balance your head on top of your neck, on top of your shoulders, on top of your hips, on top of your knees, and on top of your feet. If you try to walk in that bent over position, it makes it much harder to keep your balance. And that is something that can be unlearned. You can train yourself to stand up more straight up and down. And you can also train yourself to walk in a more efficient way. I was just imitating the way that I sometimes walk when I get up early in the morning and I'm very stiff, leaning over like this. And then my husband says, "Jill, straighten up." So I have to straighten up like this. One of the things that can help you is to keep your gaze ahead rather than on the floor. So you have an aim in mind when you're walking. You're not just sort of inching across the floor. You are aiming at something. And another thing that helps you is using your arms to help you walk. If you don't think about which way your arms are going, most of the time, if you're going forward with your right foot, your left arm will go forward. And this is just the natural way our bodies are designed to walk. In fact, animals that get around on four legs usually operate the same way. There's only one kind of animal I know of that advances with both feet on the same side, and that's a camel. they tend to go forward with both the right side and the left side, both on the right, both legs on the left. And that's the reason they tend to roll from side to side. If you're sitting on a camel's back, it can feel as if you're on a ship. That's why they sometimes call camels the ship of the desert. But we don't want to be camels, we want to be human beings. So another thing we have to think about when we walk is it's actually easier if you don't go too slowly. You know how I don't know if you ride a bike, but if you ride a bike, if you go too slowly, the bike might fall over. But if you keep on moving, if you keep on walking forward without pausing a great deal, it's actually easier to keep your balance. The other thing you can think about is both of your legs are involved in each step. One leg goes forward, the other end pushes off and back. So you're being propelled forward by your back leg at the same time you're reaching out with your front leg. And the other thing to think about when you're walking is how your foot hits the ground. The way the arch of our foot is designed to work is a sort of shock absorber. And it only works that way if you put your heel down first and roll your foot through to the toes. I'm going slowly to exaggerate, but if you put your toe down first or put your whole foot down flat, I'm going to turn around, it's a lot harder to go forward. And yet many people walk like this because they're looking at the floor and they're trying to make sure they're not going to hit any obstacle. Well, that's not a bad thing to do, avoiding obstacles, but it would help you keep your balance better if you can look forward several feet in advance of where you're planning to walk, so that you're not looking at the floor, so that your head is balanced on top of your neck, and so that you aren't in a position to fall over just because you're trying so hard to avoid an obstacle. So one of the things that's most important about walking is to do it as much as you can. This shirt was distributed by the AARP a few years ago, and you notice they put walking at the top of their list of recommendations. So it would be a good thing if you can manage to walk every day, even if it's only inside. I know it's hot now, so you don't want to go outside. But even if it's just inside your own house, one of the things you can do to make walking easier is just walk next to a kitchen counter, or you can line up a row of chairs so that you're going from one chair to the next. But I'm going to stop this talk here so that I can show you some of the ways you can set up your exercise, so that you can set up the place you exercise to make it easier to try some slightly more advanced walking balance exercises.